Hello friend, welcome back. In this tutorial I am going to show you how to handle the any kind of iframe, in fact all kinds of iframe using Selenium with Python. So if you are a beginner or somebody who is stuck with the iframe scenario in Selenium with Python, then this tutorial will help you to learn all types of iframe and how to handle, how to automate them using these Selenium with Python. Here I have kept a note of all kinds of iframe which you can come across. Very simple one is the iframe, single iframe, which generally like 90% of the time you will find these iframes only. Then nested iframe, basically iframe inside multiple iframe or one or two or in more iframes, and then inside iframe inside shadow DOM. Very rarely you will get, but yes, in case of Salesforce kind of application you will find them a lot. And then last one is the cross origin iframe. So we'll see one by one, and we'll try to make it very simple, and it is like just very simple to handle these kind of elements. I will show you the trick and how you can do them. So let me just open a page where I have created these scenarios, all kinds of scenarios. So in this page I have added some iframe scenarios which we will see how we can automate, and similarly you will find in your application or in any application. So suppose we have to enter the value inside this first class, and this or if we have to click on this element. So generally like you will see that like many times we have to open dev tools and all to figure out inside which iframe it is, whether it is inside iframe or not, and how then writing XPath and all. We will not do all those things manually. Here is a very simple thing. You just open SelectorsHub, and SelectorsHub will help you to get everything here. And SelectorsHub will also help you to inspect these elements as well as get all the information like iframe, XPath, inside how many iframe it is. So that will be very helpful. What you have to do, just click on the SelectorsHub logo here. If you don't have SelectorsHub, just install SelectorsHub from the SelectorsHub website. Also I will give the link in the description. So here just click on SelectorsHub and then click on this inspector and inspect this element. You see, as soon as you hover on the element, it will tell you that this element is inside iframe. Now click here and you got the iframe XPath here as well as XPath for that element. So if suppose we have to enter the value inside this, what we will do, we will copy this XPath of iframe, go to our code, and then there we will use as well as the XPath for that element. You can use any other selector or XPath which you want, that is up to you. So here I have written a simple piece of code which is basically opening that page. So after opening the page, it is always recommended then when you are handling the iframe, before switching inside iframe, you need you put some wait time, explicit wait, so that iframe get loaded completely. Sometime it will be very fast, sometime it could be slow as well. So we'll put default, let's say 5-second wait time. Then here whenever you have to perform any action on an element which is inside iframe, in Selenium we will always have to switch inside that first. So we have to switch inside iframe. Basically we need to get the access of this iframe. So what is the code for that? So here basically first we will get the iframe element. So we have already got the XPath of iframe by dot XPath, and then we have the XPath of that iframe, so that we will paste. In fact, you can get this complete code from SelectorsHub as well. We need not to even type. I will show you how. So now we will switch inside iframe. Okay, so let's get this iframe inside a variable. Suppose we give a name of variable iframe, and then driver dot switch to, this is the command in Python, frame, and then here you type that variable name is iframe I have given, so you can give that. You can give iframe 1, 2 like that, up to you, there will be many. Then after switching inside this, we need to enter some value inside this element. Okay, so we get the XPath of this, and like I was saying that we need not to type that complete command, so you can just click on the code and you will get the complete command as well. There are multiple types of values here, as well as you can learn that how to change these values according to your code, so that is there. So for now we'll turn on this and copy this XPath, come back to your code and paste it here. So we got this element, and now suppose we need to send some value inside that. Let's say I want to enter some value inside this first class. So let's say I will type SelectorsHub here. We are going to enter the value SelectorsHub. Okay, so what we did, simply we got the iframe element and then we are switching inside that, and then we are accessing that element here, and then we are entering the value. Simple command, very simple. So you see, with the help of SelectorsHub, basically we immediately got the iframe XPath as well as the element. So we just writing a very simple command to switch inside iframe, then performing action. Let us run this code and see whether it is working or not. So it's opening the web page. After opening, once it will successfully loaded, it will wait for 5 seconds. So this is the very simple single iframe, which is same source origin iframe. SelectorsHub will also show you that this is a single source iframe element. Okay, so it has not entered the value. Let's see what is the issue. Okay, so far no issue. Have we added more wait time? Oh my god, we have added 5000. Okay, so 5000 is like 5000 second. No, we just want to add 5-second wait. So let me just kill the code and run it again. Okay, now it's executing. And after waiting for 5 seconds, it should enter the value inside that. Okay, so it has entered the value. So this is how very simple way you handle the single iframe which is coming from same source. Okay, now let's see what if like element is inside multiple iframe. So this element is like multiple iframe, so that we will see, like we don't know whether it is inside multiple iframe or single iframe. So just inspect that element, and you see that when you hover on this, SelectorsHub is letting us know that this is inside iframe. So this is inside 2 nested iframe. Good. Let's inspect this element. Now it is telling us that this element is inside 3 nested iframe. So this is even more complicated one. So what we will do here, so anyways, no problem, SelectorsHub is giving the XPath for iframe 1, 2, 3 and then XPath for that element. Now it becomes very simple for us that we can copy, like first we will switch inside this iframe, then this, and then we will perform the action. Because to get the access of the element, first we need to traverse through all the iframes. So come back to here code. Let us just comment out the previous code here. Now we want to switch inside the iframe. Okay, so what we will do, like we will just take this command and we'll make it iframe 1, and here we will start pasting the iframe code here, iframe XPath, sorry. So we have the iframe XPath 1, this becomes 1, and then we have iframe 2, copy the XPath of iframe 2. So basically we will have to switch inside all the iframe one by one. Okay, and then we have this iframe 3, and here we will take the XPath of iframe 3. Okay, and one thing also we have to notice here, that after finding out, so here what we did, we find out the iframe 1. Okay, so here it will find this iframe 1 element. Now if you immediately try to find out the iframe 2 element, it will not find out because this is inside this iframe. So we have to first switch inside this iframe, then we will find out this element, then we will switch inside this iframe, then we will find out this element. Okay, so what we will have to do, we will have to write the command here, driver dot switch to frame 1. Now we are inside frame 1. Now we can get this element of iframe 2 because this is inside this iframe, so it will be find out. Now here again we will have to switch. So you see automatically this PyCharm is giving the command, so we will not have to type. So we got the iframe, now we are inside iframe 2. Similarly we will have to again switch inside the iframe 3, and now we will be able to perform the action on this element. So let us get this XPath and type the command here, driver dot find element by dot XPath, and here we can paste the XPath value of that element and save this. So we have got that element, and now here we need to enter the value. Let's say send keys. Suppose we want to enter SelectorsHub, or let's say this time we will enter testing daily. Save this. So first you see that first we got the iframe XPath 1, then we switched inside that, then we got the XPath of iframe 2, then we switch inside that, then we get the XPath of iframe 3, then we switch inside that, then we are performing the action on the element. Let's run this code. So whenever there are multiple iframe, basically nested iframe, we need to switch inside all the iframes one by one. Get the iframe XPath, then switch, then again get the next iframe XPath, then switch inside that. You see that it is entering the value testing daily. Okay. Now I will show you error. What if, let's say, we didn't switch inside this iframe? Okay. Now, sorry, in Python it is hash. So we didn't switch inside this iframe, and we are trying to get the iframe 1 XPath element, and then we are trying to get the find out the iframe 2 element. So let us see that if this will work or not. It will throw error at this point of where we are trying to get the iframe 2 element, because we haven't switched inside that. So make sure that you find out iframe 1, then you switch inside that iframe, and then you try to figure out the iframe 2 element. You see that it got failed here. It is not finding iframe 2 element, this one, because we haven't switched. So make sure whenever there are multiple iframe, you switch inside one by one, and then you try to perform the action. So this is how in a very simple way you can automate the iframe element which is inside multiple iframe with the help of SelectorsHub. You need not to generally what people used to do, we click on inspect element, then this element you immediately try to write XPath in the dev tools, you get the matching node, you try to automate them, then your script fail, then you figure out, oh, this is inside iframe, because you see that if you write the, let's say you write this id has this, you immediately will see one by one of one. You will write the automation code, you will not think about that this could be inside iframe. If you will think, oh, this is inside iframe, you will immediately try to automate that. You will not think that it can be inside multiple iframe, right? So this is where SelectorsHub will help, that you need not to look out at the DOM, then writing the XPath of iframe, multiple iframe, and all those things. You can use SelectorsHub in DevTools as well. Here it will, as soon as you inspect the element, it will tell you inside everything, but this is much more easier way, that you open side panel and then you inspect and get everything. Okay. So we have seen two scenarios, like how you can automate single iframe, then how you can automate nested iframe. Now we'll see really complicated scenario, iframe inside shadow DOM. So let me just go to this practice page here. I'm not sure if you guys haven't taken, then take this my advanced course, paid course for free. Click here to practice iframe inside shadow DOM scenario. Let me click this. Okay. Now here open SelectorsHub and let us inspect this element, enter name. So this is inside shadow DOM, destiny. So this is inside iframe. Now here you see that it is not able to give the iframe XPath, because this is inside iframe and that iframe is inside shadow DOM. So if any element is inside shadow DOM, whether that is an iframe or something, for that we cannot write the XPath. Okay, so here what we will do, so this element is inside iframe. Okay, let me do one thing. So here what we will have to do, we will have to see the DOM, and also with the help of SelectorsHub we will be able to automate this. So just open SelectorsHub here for a second. So this element, we got the element XPath this here. Okay, now what it is telling us, we got to know that this element is inside same origin iframe. So now here you will have to scroll little bit and click on this iframe element. Now when you will click on this iframe, you will get to know that this iframe is inside shadow DOM. Okay, so first we need to get the access of shadow DOM, then we need to get the access of iframe, and then we will get the access of that element. So first let us reach till this iframe element, because this iframe is inside shadow DOM. So first we need to switch inside this, we need to get the access of this shadow DOM. Okay, and how we handle the shadow DOM in with Selenium with Python, that also I will just show you quickly. So come here in the code, let us comment everything. So far what we have done, just comment that. Let us start from the top. So first we need to get the access of that shadow DOM. Okay, so what you have to do here in Selenium with Python, type this driver dot find element by dot CSS selector, and then type the CSS selector of that host element. What is host here? Username, hash username. And then you type get, here you type shadow root. So now we get the shadow root of that iframe. So for this iframe, what is shadow root? This is shadow DOM, and for this shadow DOM, this is basically shadow host. So inside like who is that guy, who is that shadow host who is having access of this iframe? So this is this username, this div is the owner of this shadow root. Okay, so this we have got, and now we got the shadow root. After getting the shadow root, we will be able to get the iframe element. Okay, so here driver dot find element by dot CSS selector, and we need to get this iframe, right? So for the iframe element, what is the ID? Here packed 1, you can see that it is showing here. So you can copy this, paste it here. We are getting this iframe element. So what you can do here, make it iframe. So now we got the access of that iframe. First we got the access of that shadow root, shadow host, which is having the access of this iframe. We got the iframe. Now we will switch inside the iframe as usual. Driver dot switch to. Do not get confused. If you have got, like if you are handling simple iframe or nested iframe, you could have like stopped watching this video from there. But this is very helpful when you have the complex scenario, when you are working daily complex scenario and you got such kind of scenario, there it will help you a lot. Driver dot switch to, and then frame, and here you type that frame iframe. So we have switched inside iframe. Now we have switched inside iframe. So now we can get the access of this particular element destiny, and the XPath for this is this element. You can copy this, and in fact we always recommend whenever you come across a scenario which is anything related to shadow DOM, always try to use CSS selector, because that way you will not get any kind of difficulty, because shadow DOM doesn't support XPath. So there, I mean, if element is inside iframe, you can use XPath, but what if like there any kind of complication like iframe inside shadow DOM inside iframe, multiple scenarios? So it is always safer side, you use everywhere CSS selector whenever you have anything kind of shadow DOM. So let us use the CSS selector here for this element destiny, and here paste your CSS selector. And now suppose inside this element we want to enter some value, like destiny, we want to enter some value. So send keys, you can enter, let's say we want to enter another tool name test case studio here, and then simple. So you see that just 3-4 lines of code it is, but it is really complicated scenario. If you don't understand like shadow DOM, iframe, it becomes very difficult. And with the help of SelectorsHub, it becomes much more easy, because when you inspect, it tells that this element is inside iframe, and now it has not given you the XPath of iframe, which means there is something more tricky than start in just moving on the DOM. click on that iframe element, then it will tell you that, oh, this element is inside shadow DOM, and that's the reason it was not able to give the XPath of that iframe. So you got the iframe information. So first here you need to, like, it is also telling, it will tell you everything like what you need to do, so that you can do. And here if you are working with Selenium with Java, so it gives you the complete code as well. Okay, now let us run this code and see if it works. So what we did, first we got the host access inside which iframe is, and then we got the access of that iframe, we switch inside iframe, then we are performing action. Let us run this. Oh wait, one more thing we need to do, we are opening that page which we were doing earlier, so we need to open that URL. Let me just close this. So we need to change the URL here, this is not the right URL. We need to open that page inside which we have this scenario, so this is the page. Okay, now let us run this. So waiting for 5 seconds. Okay, then it got failed. Let's see where it got failed. No such element, unable to locate element, packed 1. Driver.find element by .selector. Okay, so shadow root. Okay, I did a mistake here. We need to get this inside this shadow. Maybe like you can give any variable name. Let's say we give the shadow host, this name as shadow host, and then we have to type this shadow host dot this, because this element is inside this shadow host. So this element is inside this shadow host, so we need to write this command, shadow host dot driver dot find element, sorry, shadow host dot this find element. We need not to type that driver. So this is the right piece of code, I just missed that. So after getting this shadow host, we need to find that element inside this shadow host. Okay, so this is the right piece of code. Now let me run this. Good that I did that mistake, otherwise we always have that in mind, driver dot find element, habitual of that, because here in place of that driver, that shadow host become the like kind of driver thing. So you see that it has entered the value here, test case studio. So let me just stop this code. So again we'll see this code. What we did, first we opened the URL, then we got the shadow host, that shadow host element, and inside that shadow host we have that iframe. So we are getting that element. So we are, in place of typing driver, remember that you have to type that this shadow root host variable, shadow host, and then inside that we are trying to find that iframe element. This is basically we are getting the iframe, then we are switching inside iframe, then we are performing the action on that iframe, on that element which is inside iframe. Okay, so this is the scenario of an element which is inside iframe, and that iframe is inside shadow DOM. Let me run this code again and show you guys. So it has opened this page. Then waiting for 5 seconds. After that it will get the shadow root and then switching inside iframe, then performing the action. So you see that it has entered the value. So this is how you can handle this kind of iframe which are inside shadow DOM. Now the last one is cross origin iframe. It is absolutely same like handling the iframe, normal iframe, just that SelectorsHub will give you extra information that this element is inside cross origin iframe, basically the iframe which are coming from the different source. So like this is SelectorsHub.com, this form is coming from the google.com. So you just inspect this element here, let's say any element. So you see that when you hover on this element, it is telling you this element is inside iframe, but on the top left you notice here it is showing red color tooltip, this element is inside cross origin iframe. If you inspect also this one, it is telling you that this element inside cross origin iframe. So this is just telling you the information, rest is everything same, the way you are handling the normal element, normal iframe element. So you just have to switch inside that iframe, and then you have to perform the action as normal. So let's say we want to click on this element. So what you have already got the XPath of this iframe, and then here you got the XPath of that particular element as well, this one. But you see that here, if you might notice here, that this looks like dynamic. If we refresh the page, this might get changed and all. So for that region, we will try to get the pretty much unique XPath, like something like this, which is stable. Like unique it is, but stable. So this yes is not going to change, right? So let me just quickly show you this example as well. Go to your code. We will comment this code as well. And now here we will write driver dot find element by dot XPath and paste that iframe XPath which we have got. And here we need to, this time we will not make that mistake. This one is the URL which we need to open. We will comment this code. So we got the iframe. This is cross origin, then we will switch. So this is pretty much absolutely same like what we did for normal iframe, just that I'm showing you guys. Then we got this XPath, and here you write driver dot find element by dot XPath. Then we are performing the action on this. Let's say we want to click on this. Now let us run this code. So it should click on that yes. So from the Selenium Python perspective, it is absolutely same, that you just have to switch inside iframe and then you have to perform the action. Just that like you should be having the knowledge that okay, this is a cross origin iframe or same source origin iframe. So that SelectorsHub will help you. So you see that it has clicked. So now this way we have learned to automate all kinds of iframe with the help of Selenium, with the help of SelectorsHub using Selenium with Python. So this is how you can automate all kinds of iframe. And yep, so I hope like this will help you guys a lot when you will be working in Selenium with Python, and this will absolutely saves a lot of time for you guys. And if you find this useful, please give a thumbs up. Do let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do, and also share it with your colleagues and friends, this tutorial. It will help a lot to handle such kind of complex scenarios. With that, thank you so much. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also check out these awesome informative videos and keep watching more videos on SelectorsHub channel. Thank you.